And we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports for the player rating show, which I think is going to be quite brutal, if I'm being perfectly honest. A lot of frustrated people there, a lot of people who are very upset, and that's all right, because you know what, we need to be upset to passionate. You know, we want to win every single match. We expect so much of this team all the time because we are the world champions. But the only thing I would ask is let's not have a meltdown. Let's not, get caught up in all the negativity and forget that we did play very well last week, and it's 1-1. And any rugby championship, 1-1 we usually take. And I think that it becomes far too easy to start scapegoating players, and to start moving back to old rhetoric, which we had to shut up for a week because it didn't suit the agenda, but now because we lost, suddenly suits the agenda. So, for example, to go after the kicking game is silly because we beat the All Blacks a week ago with it. And it was the reason we won. And everyone was sitting there going, there it is, it works, like cool. And then you lose a match and suddenly it's like, oh, well, all we do is kick and it's useless and etc. So very, very happy to be frustrated. But let's try and remain a little bit calm here. Let's try and just be better than just having a meltdown, throwing around very passionate but often off the mark statements. That is not going to help anything. Let's be honest here. So, two things I would like us not to do, as I said, is to not go into crisis mode and suddenly go into all doom and gloom. There's no hope. Everything is lost, etc. Because unfortunately, Springbok fans are very passionate people. We are passionate people. South Africans are passionate people. So when we win well. We celebrate hard. We go balls to the walls. When we lose, we tend to get very miserable. So let's not do that, shall we? Because you know what, life's very shit anyway. Or can be shit a lot of the time. So let's not let this add on to things. We are going to go through the player rates and stuff like that. And the second thing is, I don't think that was Luke Pearce's best game. I 100%. I'm happy to admit that. I don't like talking about referees. I don't. But he was not the reason we lost today. I think that's far too. That's a very lazy analysis to just go, we lost the match because of the ref. It's frustrating, and there were a couple of calls that I found quite frustrating, but we probably deserved. We were the worst team. We conceded 4 tries, and if you concede 4 tries, you deserve to lose. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and again, I'm seeing people saying we lost the match because of the ref. And you know what? If that helps you sleep at night, genuinely, if that does help, go with it. Lie in bed and go, well, we would have won, but bloody Luke Pearce. And if that makes you happy, and if that makes you deal with it, then fine. If that's what you need to do, that's your coping mechanism, then you cope how you need to cope. The reality is, we defended pretty poorly. We missed some very simple tactics. We looked pretty dead on our feet, and we did not pitch up for the rate. We played well for the first 10 minutes, poorly for the next 20 minutes, and we had probably about a 25-minute period where we were the better side, but overall we weren't the better side, and we lost the match, and that kind of happens with that. So yeah, but again, I'm sure people will continue to have a meltdown, and we're going to move with that, I guess. But yeah, we're going to go to the player ratings. Basically, how this works, you get every player a rating to 1 through 10, and then we vote for a man of the match. And before we vote for a man of the match, I need nominations for man of the match. Now, usually we struggle to get down to 4 after a win, so I don't think it's going to be too difficult to come up with a 4. I would like to put, obviously, the Kanya is probably the leading candidate. I mean, it has to be the Kanya really. But I need other nominations as well. So who was your man of the match. We're going to go Lacanio. I thought Damien Willemse, I'm putting him in there. I thought he was very good. I personally would like to put Billy LaRue in the running there. I thought that LaRue came on and actually made a very big difference. And I'm seeing a couple of people going with Billy LaRue as well. So I'm going to chuck him in. I'm seeing a Mapimpi. I'm seeing another Mapimpi. I see a couple. I'm seeing one person saying Pollard all this over and over again. No, I think we can throw in Mapimpi. I thought Mapimpi played pretty well actually. Very nice finish. Two very nice finishes. One didn't count, but yeah. Right, so we're gonna drop those nominations. So we're gonna go and vote for those. But let's start with the player rating, shall we? We'll start with Oxenchair. He was pulled off for about 36 minutes. I don't think he was as bad as everybody's making it out to believe. The fact that he was replaced early is always going to be tactical. I don't think he was brilliant, but I don't think he was horrific. I think a lot of people, yeah, not his best game. I personally think Trevor Nyakane will be sitting there thinking, I reckon I'll probably get ahead of him now. Because he probably did play better last week than Ox did this week. I think the frustrating thing is we got no reward at scrum time in the first half. So, and Oxenchair is better than that. And the fun thing is, fun fact by the way, players will have bad games. It happens. It does happen, and it happened for Ox. So it wasn't his best game. But he had one carry. He made 6 tackles, didn't slip a single tackle, but just didn't get much reward. So I'm going to give him a 6 because it's the definition of average. And you guys are going with a 6. So I like the fact that we're on the same wavelength. Joseph Dweber was frustrating and disappointing. Now, there's a couple of things I'm going to say about Joseph Dweber. First of all, it wasn't as good. It wasn't a good game. He played badly. That's the reality. I don't think that the half we had played to his strengths. I think he had one opportunity to carry ball in hand. And he did make a couple of meters. But, you've got someone who thrives in being physical, in making big tackles, in having very good ball carrying abilities, and you got the ball once. So, his set piece is a worry. Although I think that Malcolm Marx actually lost more lineouts than he did. Or at least it's the same amount. I think they both lost 2. So, our lineouts weren't as good as they usually should be. The fact that we lost 4 across the game is quite frustrating, because usually our lineouts are so solid. But so I'm probably going to go with the 3 for Joseph Dweber. He just didn't really get, we did have an opportunity. He didn't have a fantastic game. So I'll give him a 3. But what I will say, and the guys are going with a 4, which is fine, is he deserves to be there. He does deserve to be there. And if you don't think so, that's your opinion. But I'm telling you right now, he deserves to be in that squad. And he is very much good enough to be a Springbok hooker. That is, without a doubt, a fact. Whether he is currently the best informed third choice is up for debate, and people are calling for Jan Krabbelaar to be included, and again, I say we see a lot of Jan Krabbelaar, so we see him all the time, and that's why people want to want him to start. I think that in 6 months' time, we will have a very different opinion on Joseph Dweber when he's playing week in, week out for the Stormers. I genuinely do. I think that people will come around to him a lot, because he's going to get a lot more game time. And he's going to be bang right and center. I'm going to be seeing him every single week. And we will know going to the World Cup whether it's him or Jan Krabbelaar who's in better form, because they're both playing in the same competition. They're both playing for top teams. They're both playing in the Champions Cup, stuff like that. So they'll be playing against each other the entire season. So we will be very much in a position to make a very informed decision about who should be the third choice hooker if we do take 3 hookers to the World Cup, for example. There is the option to not take a third hooker and go with like a Dion Fariv as a utility player, although I do think we will take a third hooker. So he's gone to 4 there. which is I think probably right. Right, a forgetful day in the office. He will get better though. I'm telling you right now. I thought he had a very good game last year when he played for the SAA against the British Irish Lions, and I thought he was pretty decent against Argentina. So one bad game does not define the player. And let's not forget how players do improve. And I really like this comment here by Terry saying when Malcolm started, he also wasn't the player he is now. Malcolm Marx was very good when he started, but again, he actually got dropped to the bench during the World Cup because the set piece was poor. So Malcolm Marx has improved measurably in the last 2 years. Bongi Banambi is somebody who's improved measurably in a couple of years. So Joyce Dweb has got a lot of improving to do, but it wasn't his day, and that's fine. Not necessarily fine, but it happens. It does happen. Frostbite Herbert on his 50th test wasn't the game he had last week, which was world class. But again, not terrible. I mean, he made 12 tackles, by the way. 12 tackles, 2 carries, 4 meters gained. Silent assassin. He is one of the best tight ends in the world for good reason. So where am I sitting on France? I mean, 12 tackles, not single one tackle. Maybe that's a lot of hard work. Trying to think if he could see the scrum penalty. I think he might have, didn't get any scrum penalties though, so I'll probably go with a 6 for France, which feels harsh, but didn't manage to impact the game as much as he wanted. So yeah, so there you go. So 6, I think 6 is probably about right. So I'm seeing a lot of people talking about the 6-2 split. We'll talk about that a little bit at the end because I do think that we have now suddenly see the issues with it. But so yeah, so I'm gonna go answer the 6, which is about right. Then you got Evan Etzebeth and Luet Diaga. I thought Etzebeth, the old Eban, a little bit quiet. Wasn't his sort of always big sort of storming presence himself. Had a couple. I mean, he did play a full 80, and I think he was struggling with that full 80, but he got through quite a lot of hard work, as a lock should. But yeah, I mean, I think the biggest issue was for a long part of the game, we sometimes didn't manage to really impose ourselves as much as we'd like to usually. He did lose a line out, and yeah, wasn't up to his usual standard. So I'll probably go with a 6 with Evan. And people are agreeing, so we're pretty close on the mark. Lurt, I thought Lurt was probably better actually, not miles better. I thought he was a bit better physically. He made a couple of big tackles. When he made a tackle, it was a big one. He made a lot of 13 tackles he made, by the way, and 2 carries. So I thought Lurt was better than Evan. I thought he had a bit of a better game. So I will go with Lurt with a 7. And thought his line work was pretty solid as well. 6.5, I can deal with 6.5. I think that's probably about right, actually. And I'm just so glad this flipping system's working now that they're not seeing weird ratings. I mean, we are pretty close to the mark. But we'll go to Sear. A bit of a quiet game for Sear. 10 tackles. 1 missed, 1 carry. I'd like to see Sear Cleese with more ball in hand. I really would. I really think we don't use him as a ball carrier enough. But yeah, again, 6. He was all right. Nothing's too split. Yeah, we're going to the 6. Look at us being on the same wavelength. I appreciate that. I really do. I'm also surprised they haven't been harsher. I mean, with the meltdown that I'm seeing on Twitter and the meltdown that I'm seeing in some of the comment section, stuff like that, I thought I was going to be sitting here with, like, everybody being rated like 2s. So I'm glad that we haven't all just panicked just yet. PSF the toy. Oh, what a break he made. Missed a couple of tackles, though. Yeah, he's not the PSG at the toy we saw at the World Cup, but yeah, I think it was very good last week. It wasn't as brilliant game, and yeah, I'll probably just give him a 6. 6, yeah, that's fine. Dwayne, well, I think Dwayne was about as expected. He lost the line out, which was a bit frustrating. He made 4 tackles. He didn't miss a single tackle. He made 19 meters in his 3 carries. So he did make meters, but he only managed 36 minutes, which was about right, I think. Not his best performance. Wasn't bad. I mean, people are saying like, he's past his best. He's retired. He's finished. And I think that's a harsh reaction. Was probably the worst of the starting 8. So I'll probably give him a 5. 4.5. Feels a bit harsh. What I do feel is that right now is I still start him against Australia. But yeah, I mean saying one Dwayne 1 is it's just dumb. I think it really is. But yeah, Jane Hendrickson. Yeah, it was probably the worst Springbok performance we've seen from him, which is to be fair, quite easy to do because he has been so good over the past couple of games. But yeah, I was frustrated kicking today. You know, he kicked a couple too long. He kicked the one out of touch, so I thought that he did have a bit of an off game. So I'm going to give him a 5. 6, yeah, I mean, people got a bit higher. I think that, yeah, I think it was his kicking that let him down. I don't think his passing and his distribution was that bad. I don't think it was, anything different to usual. But I thought his kicking wasn't particularly spot on. But Hodge Pollard, well, he kicked well at the team, very well at the team. He slipped a tackle. Yeah, I don't think Pollard was terrible, actually. I don't think. He's looking a lot more confident. He's looking like very, very calm, which is good to see. So I'll probably give him a 7. I thought he was actually pretty solid. 6.5, I think is okay. I can get on with that. I think that's pretty fair. But I do think it's interesting because I do think that Villaroo, Damien Willemse are bringing out the best in Pollard. In that, how often did we see Damien Willemse at first receiver? Then we saw Villaroo at first receiver because Pollard doesn't have the attacking ability that the other two had. You know, for finding space and those long passes out wide and stuff. So he does suit having those two players playing with him. Marcus, one of my pimps I thought was pretty world class. I think that's the best game we've seen from him this year. He didn't do anything wrong, I don't think, really. He had a brilliant finish before the try was ruled out. He had a really good finish when he did score the try. I thought his aerial work was very good. He should have had a penalty, which he didn't get when the guy came across and took him out. But whenever he got the ball, he looked like something was on. You know, he found space. He made Matt Marys. So I thought that Mapimpi was pretty good. So I'll probably give him an 8. I think that him and Lekanya were on a different level to the rest. 7.5. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. So I'm glad that we are recognizing the Mapimps. And we need him playing well because we are losing 14s like it's going out of fashion. I mean, today was our 4th choice 14, really, if you add Spoon Corsi into the mix. And he's also potentially out. We don't know what the issue is. So that's a bit worrying. But Mapimpi's game numbers, didn't miss a tackle. He made 180 meters, beating 1 defender, 2 clean breaks, a try. I mean, what more can you really ask for him? Damien De Lendi. He was a very hit or miss. I thought he had a very hit or miss performance. You know, I thought that he had some very important contributions because he did have some very good runs. But he also missed he missed a lot of tackles today, which was frustrating because he's usually such a good defender. He was playing at outside center. He made 32 meters, by the way, beating 3 defenders. So he was pretty productive with ball in hand, actually. But his defense was a bit poor. So I'll give him a 6 there, 6.5. Yeah, I think it's maybe a bit generous, but I'm not overly phased by that. Lekanya was just a different league today. Absolutely incredible. I'm not going to give him a 10 because I think that, he did miss a couple of tackles, but 144 meters gained, 5 defenders beaten, 4 clean breaks, try scored, should have had a try assist. He's just phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So I'm going to give him a 9. Yeah, no, he was next level. He really was next level. A 10 wouldn't have been a miss for him. Jesse Creel is going to get a 6. And I'm going to have a laugh at the EC. If you rated Jesse Creel anything less than a 6, you're not very bright, unfortunately. No, I'm joking. It's a bit harsh. Jesse Creel walked onto the park and he got a concussion. He played 9 minutes, chaps. 9 minutes. 9. He missed a tackle. He made a tackle. He didn't have a single opportunity with ball in hand. He didn't touch the ball once, by the way, with ball in hand. And he got a concussion. So, there's basically no point even rating him. So, if you are sitting there giving him a 1, 2, 3, you know what? Again, that's what helps you sleep at night, go for it. But I think it's just pointless. Creel cost us the game. He got injured, guys. He got injured. What do you want him to do? He got injured. He played 9 minutes because he got injured. It's literally like rating Faf de Klerk last weekend. He got injured. Okay, cool. Oh, he's not a wing. Why is he playing wing? Chaps, he's the 4th person in line for that wing spot. 4th. We've got no Colby. We've got no Kirkley Aronson. No Stu and Corsi, by the way. So 3 players are injured before Creel gets to play in the wing. Like, stop having him up to me. An injury crisis at 14. The tackle he made on Artie Severe was actually quite an important one when he got concussed. Because Artie Severe was steamrolling down that flank. So he had a missed tackle and a very good tackle, and then he got concussed and went off. That was his entire game. So let's just calm down. Really, calm down. Calm down. Willemse, Damien, my boy. Yeah, I think he's pretty much got that 15 jersey nailed down, doesn't he? He's so good, isn't he? So good. Unlucky with the yellow card, I felt, but he gained 30 meters, 3 defenders beaten. He made 14 tackles, missing 2. I thought that assist was brilliant. You think of where Willemse was a year ago compared to where he was today. I mean, really, he's just a different level to what he was last year. He's really taken a step up. And I feel sorry for people like David, who says Damien 4, because obviously he doesn't have DSTV or access to a TV and to be able to watch the games. Because if you think that was a 4, then you didn't watch the match. Because him and Villy were cooking, by the way. The 2 of them were cooking. So I'm very, very happy with William seeing Damien Williams. So he's only getting better. I'm going to give him an 8. 8.5. I think that's the second highest rating. Yeah, and I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. And I think the other car was a bit unlucky, to be honest. Malcolm Marks was pretty clutch when he came on. His game reads as follows: 1 carry, 11 tackles, not a single tackle missed, 1 turnover, a very important turnover. He actually scored off it. And again, Malcolm Marks played 51 minutes today. If he started, he would have played 51 minutes. So I really think we need to stop this whole has to start kind of nonsense. Because right, so say he starts, okay, and we still concede those 2 tries, okay. Let's just go into that, because there's no guarantee we don't concede those 2 tries if he starts. So if he starts and we go down to 15-0, now he's emptied the tank, and at 45 minutes he's finished. Now everybody's panicking about Joe Stover not being good enough. Well, then Joe Stover's coming on and finishing the game, and you can't replace him. By the way, you can't take him off. So yes, it's always going to be a step down when you don't have Bongi Manambi because he's injured. But I personally think it's still the right thing to do. To start, I'm very much in the camp of Malcolm Oxford the bench because he can put in those turnovers and suddenly create a try. He can catch up with those important moments. But he wasn't perfect, by the way. He lost 2 lineouts. We lost 2 lineouts with him on the park. So he wasn't perfect. I'm going to probably give him a 7. Just because of the thing. And that 7 is fine. But I'm still in the camp. I like him playing at I'm off the bench. Because I think he does impact the game at the latter stages. And we've seen it many times before. And again, as we keep having to say, it's a 23-man game. So being on the bench does not mean you're the worst player. It means that's your role. To come on and impact the game in the crucial stages. I mean, why are the last 20 minutes less important than the first, or the last half an hour less important than the first 50 minutes? In many ways, that's where the game is won and lost. Kitsop, I thought was pretty solid when he came on. He won some scrum penalties. I was actually very impressed with him. 2 carries, 8 tackles, 1 missed tackle, but won a couple of scrum penalties. So I'm going to give him a 7. George saying if he starts and you don't go 15 down, you put your best players and build a lead in the game, it's a psychological advantage. Well, there's no guarantee that if he starts, we go 15-0 up. No guarantee whatsoever. So, if we're going to talk about hypotheticals, we're going to talk about for the end of the evening. Yes, maybe if he started, we wouldn't have gone 15-0 down. We don't know that. If we did and he went off, then you wouldn't have had him in the last half an hour where we need him. So, Witzekoch came on, 5 tackles, none missed. Yeah, I'd say it's pretty average. I wouldn't say he was phenomenal or bad, anything. I'd say it was pretty average. So I'm going to give him a 6. Yeah, that's fine. I actually think that this man silently came on and had a pretty storming game. He had a very crucial line-out steal, which if we were going to win the game, I would have looked back and said that was a big moment in the game. He came on, I'll tell you right now, he came on he's played 32 minutes, made 6 tackles, 1 turnover 1, 3 carries, making 11 meters, and turnover lineout. He was really, he came on, he looked like a man that had something to prove because he came on and it was very good. And he's very, he's always quite, sometimes you don't see him, he's not a flashy player, but he does so much, he gets so much work done. So I'm going to give Franco an 8. I thought he was probably, next to Malcolm, the best bench player. 7 I'm actually okay with, but I thought that he was very good. He did get around the park, made some very important tackles. I mean, there was that one phase where I think he made 3 tackles in a row, and it was, and they were looking really good. So he makes some important tackles. Work rate is through the roof. Jasper Wiese, I'm frustrated at that penalty. He made 4 tackles, 6 carries. He made 50 meters across the. His ball carrying ability is very good. You know that. We know that, and it was very good again today. I thought he was pretty solid. I'm frustrated at that penalty though, and 2 things. First of all, it's the big question: did he hear the whistle or not? Now, Luke Pierce said that everybody else heard, so therefore you must have heard. Again, you don't know if he does or if he doesn't. I think that he saw Aaron Smith with the ball and lined him up, and whether he heard the penalty or not, I think he probably would have hit him if he heard the whistle because, but he lined him up and he was committed. He was committed to the tackle, and there was a second or 2 where he could have maybe pulled out. But again, you can't assume if he did hear it or not. But apart from that, I thought he was very good. His carrying was very good. His tackling was pretty good. So I'm going to give Wiese a 7. And I think he works really well with the bomb squad, by the way. I really do think he plays very nicely off the bench. So that's an interesting thing about it because he like Malcolm Marx is very effective later on in the game. So interesting how we manage him, and he's decent when he starts as well. But again, I like the fact that when the game gets a bit open, when players are a little bit tired and stuff like that, you've got a wrecking ball like Jasper Wiese running into them. So it's a nice position to be in. Quacker Smith wasn't as active as he always was. He made 4 tackles. He didn't miss a single one. He had 1 carry, which he made 10 meters. Beat a defender as well. Yeah, solid. Didn't get to do much, unfortunately. So I'll just give him a 6. I'll say it was average. Didn't get much chance, but did everything he had to do. 5.5 is harsh. That means people are rating him at 5 or 4 and stuff like that. And I don't think that's very, very harsh. Herschel gets a 6. He was on for 6 minutes, maybe. And if you're going to sit there saying, why did he kick the ball? That's the game plan, chaps. Like, Jaden Hendrickson, if I have to click, everybody would kick the ball in that situation. He played 5 minutes. So, there's not even a point in rating Herschel. So, 5, yeah, whatever. And Villy, I think a lot of people are going to have to... He kicked poorly. Who? Herschel Yankees. He had 1 kick, by the way, which was actually pretty pinpoint. It was actually the perfect box kick. If you're asking why he kicked, because that's the game plan. And if you think it was poor, you didn't watch the kick, because as I said, he had 1 kick from hand and it was spot on. Villy Leroux, however, was world class. He is so good with the ball in hand, and we need to start appreciating it. We need to start understanding that he's got so much to bring to this box squad. And he will have bad games, he will have bad moments. He plays like that, but he got this team moving. So many important passes. He was finding space all the time. 14 passes, 41 meters gained, a try assist for him. A very important try assist, by the way. I'm going to give him an 8. 7, I think, is harsh. I really think that he should deserve an 8. But I think he's proven coming off the bench the last couple of games how valuable he still is for the side. He is a very important player, and if you can't realize that, then you need to watch it more, because he keeps coming on and showing why he's so important. So the last bit of business there is to award our man of the match, which has been a whitewash. 314 people have voted, and we have voted for Lekanyam as the man of the match. David Benson coming in second, Pimpy third, Villy Leroux fourth. Probably quite significant that our backline players were the ones that were nominated, and our forwards weren't maybe at the races today. So, work-ons, lots of work-ons. But that is it for the day. People, thank you very much for joining me over the course of the day. It was a lot of fun, as always. No rugby for a while, unfortunately. So, we've got a long break. We'll be up against Australia in 2 weeks' time. But we'll hopefully have plenty of stuff to talk about over there. But for the Boks, they're going to take a bit of a rest. I think they're going to have a couple of days off before they go to Australia, which is probably exactly what they need. A bit of a reset. It does now mean that we need to basically go and beat Australia twice. And then go be Arsenal away to try and win the Rugby Championship. So, it's asking a lot of us, but let's go and do it. But yeah, thanks very much. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. We didn't get past 17,000 subscribers today, which is a bit sad. But hopefully we'll progress over that in the next week or two. We are about 120 people shy. So, if you haven't subscribed, then do it quickly, and then we can see how we go. People, thank you very much. Keep safe. I'll chat to you guys soon.